All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the Chaotic Culture Podcast, the pod where chaos rules and black culture is supreme. The Chaotic Culture Podcast, goodness gracious, is brought to you by W Energy, the official energy sponsor of the Chaotic Culture Podcast. Use promo code Chaotic Culture 1 to get 10% off your next order. This podcast will deep dive into modern black culture and how millennials and Gen Z can navigate the crazy parts from finances, music, black business highlights. I'm stumbling all over the place today. Content creators, home ownership, HBCU, sports, black nerddom, anime, wrestling, and so on. If it encompasses black culture, we are going to cover it. Live from the 7-5 for the last time. I am the host and the creator of the Chaotic Culture Podcast. This is your boy Kev the Pro, aka the Calculated Millennial, aka the Encore presentation. Now, can I get an encore? Do you want more? Aka your favorite toxic adjacent king, Kev the Poet, Kev the Closer, all that good shit. The 843 is me, Baltimore, we about to see. Always chaotic, never toxic most days. Back again, once again, with your favorite black culture highlights and black culture shenanigans. We took a little bit of a break here, because things are moving, people move, people work. And with me, of course, y'all know I'm in the middle of moving, so there's that. But in the interest of making sure that we stay on top of things, we had to drop an episode this week. So with that in mind, I'm gonna go ahead and introduce the two co-hosts that have joined me today. First and foremost, of course, the co-pilot of the Chaotic Culture Podcast, Law. Please go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
Good morning, good afternoon, good night, depending upon where you at. It's your boy Law back again for another captivating episode. Um, Lock in with us, get your favorite beverage or your herbal essence, and kick back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then, of course, the menace from Texas, your favorite instigator, Steve, Scuba Steve. Please go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
Hey, what up, what up, what up? It's Scuba Steve, aka the Instant Negator, aka Scholar Dad or whatever. And yeah, man, I'm just here ready to see what kind of mischief we can start on this pod today, man.
Very well put. Very well put. With that in mind, y'all already know how we start. We got to talk about our mental health, making sure that everybody's good to go or they're recovering in some form of fashion. Now, for me, I did have a frat brother slash church brother pass away not too long ago. And unfortunately, it was to breast cancer, which is very rare, especially for black males. And it did kind of hit hard because this is somebody that I grew up with and grew up idolizing. He was 2 years older than me. So I did want to take this opportunity and dedicate this episode to my brother, Kevin White Jr. Rest in peace, good Newt. I hope to see you again on those golden shores. And thank you for always looking after me like I was your little brother. And I just want to take the opportunity to also thank your mom and your aunt and all your cousins for just always being in my life in one way or the other, and for looking after me when I was just running around in Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts and always keeping an eye on me. And even at high school, asking about the football games and how much you enjoyed the sport. And even afterwards, when you were a coach at my high school, Fort Dorchester, how much you really dedicated your lives to helping the youth, man. I can't thank you enough for all the work that you've done. With that in mind, I'm okay. Despite that, life is definitely interesting still, but we move. And unfortunately, things happen. But on the bright side, I am further along with my packing and getting out to Baltimore. So pretty soon I will be out there, and I believe that we will more than likely be taking a break next week. I think. Now, if we got time, and we find a way, then of course we'll drop another episode next week, so that way we can have something, and then we'll take the break the next week. But we'll see how it plays out. Things happen. But enough about that. I've said that I'm good. I'm straight. You know, and I'm hoping that this week continues, and some good things will happen. So with that in mind, Law, how's your week, man, bro?
The week is off to a decent start. I do want to note that it is Mental Health Awareness Month. So, we do our check ins at the beginning of each episode. But to anyone listening, just remember to always reach out to your friends, family, and loved ones and just check in on them. Life is going to be life. And sometimes it takes the reach out for people to open up, because we have this thing that everybody deals with called pride and ego, and sometimes we got to get out of ourselves. But me personally, um, I think my word of the month, or in this quarter of the year, is patience. God is literally telling me to slow down and to just focus on what's in front of me at the moment. I got some things in the works that I've, like I said, just been praying and being diligent about, and it's teaching me to be patient. So when the news comes, I'll drop it, and we can all celebrate together. But yeah, most other than that, I'm mentally good, sound, just working on the being patient part.
I feel that, bro. I feel that. Just continue to put one foot in front of the other, man, and I know that what you've been working on is gonna be worth it. So, Steve, man, how's your mental health this week?
Man, it's good, bro. Like my niece graduated on Friday. I'm in a positive, happy mood. I ain't gonna lie to you. Um, you know what I'm saying? It's been a long road, long journey. If y'all don't know about me, my brother passed, and then I took in his two daughters. So the younger one, Larissa, graduates this year. So the journey, I mean, it's I don't know if it's over, but you know what I'm saying. We've gotten past this hump. This is a big milestone. So I'm excited about it. You know what I'm saying? We graduate, and yeah, man. Like other than that, I'm just chilling, just working, grinding, trying to stay, motivated and shit like that. So here's what it is.
I hear you, bro. Good shit, man. Good shit on your niece graduating. Can't wait to see what your family has in store and what paths they take in their lives. And then pretty soon, man, after your nieces, pretty soon it'll be your own children.
Skylar's a freshman, bro.
That's kind of hard to believe. It's it's
Yeah.
it's really like crazy because I'm thinking when did I met Skylar in was it I met her at 21, so well
Yep.
she turned 14 or 15 this year.
She turns 15 this year.
She turns 15 this year. Okay, so it has been almost
It's been
three
a
four
while,
years. Good grief, man,
bro.
that's crazy. That is
Man, y'all
absolutely
getting up
crazy.
there, man.
Bro, every time I post Scholar on like one of my stories or something on IG, everybody be like, "Was that Scholar?" And I'd be like, "Yeah." They'd be like, "What the fuck?" Because I mean, there was some people that went to the very first DreamCon in like 2015,
Mm,
2016, so they
mhm.
met Scholar then. So everybody is like, "Yo, what? Who? No way!" You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So she's yeah, we getting old out here, man.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Speaking of which, I know that we haven't potted in a while, but for those of you who know, of course, my birthday just passed as well on May 10th. I turned 33, and yeah, it's crazy how much time is passing by for real, for real. I actually went home for my birthday and spent some time with mom and my brother, and I got to see cousins that I haven't seen since the start of the pandemic. And when I last saw them, of course, they're like 10, 11 years old, so now they're in high school and I knew that they were going to be like I thought that they were going to be like kind of my size or maybe a little bit taller than me. I didn't have to expect to crane my neck at them. I'm sitting here like, what the? What? How did y'all get so tall? Why? Why did I not inherit that gene? It. I'm just. I'm sorry. I'm lamenting on the fact that I'm only 5'7", but it is what it is, I guess. But still, looking up at my baby cousins, I'm just like, dang, bro, they got all the height, and here I am. Unfortunately, I got my mom's height. Oh well.
Man, that's how it is, bro. Like, my older brother was 6'1", and then my little brother's like 6'4",
Oof,
and I'm the only one that's 5'10". Like,
man,
so yeah,
I
crazy like
get it.
it.
Thankfully, I'm not the shortest sibling. That goes to my sister. She about 5'4", 5'5", but yeah, still.
Yeah.
But anyway, with that in mind, guys, I did want to start this pod off talking about a couple of things. It has been a crazy couple of weeks for those who know, but we'll get into the aftermath of the beef in just a moment because that's really what I wanted to talk about. The first thing that we gotta address, of course, once again. Sean Combs has made headlines, and not for a good reason. And this is a trigger warning for anybody that has dealt with domestic violence at any point in their lives. I just want to let you know, of course, we support you. We believe you, and trust me when I say that this is not easy for you to deal with. I know that it is hard to leave certain situations like that, and we don't want to ever put you off as someone who is not taken seriously. We want you to know that, look, we believe every word that comes out of your mouth. If, of course, you know you're telling the truth. Obviously, there are people there who lie about things like this, but for those who truly suffer from domestic violence, we want you to know that we support you. So, with that in mind, Diddy once again made headlines. We all know about the shenanigans that he's been having these last few weeks, obviously, and unfortunately, CNN decided to drop some tape. They dropped a tape from a hotel room, or rather a hotel walkway or hallway back in 2016. Here in this video, we see Diddy running out of his room in his bathrobe and literally a- assault Cassie. This is still during the time that Diddy was dating Cassie Ventura, and we see him literally drag her down, strike her, kick her, try to drag her into the hallway. It is such a disturbing video. And then we see more of the video where he sits in a chair. She goes off to a corner. He sits in a chair and he throws something at her. And I just could not wrap this around my head, because I know that I was taught, of course, never put your hands on a woman. This is my household. But it's just still so strange when you see other people do the kind of things that they do, famous or not. It really just makes you wonder, like, yo, what in the hell is wrong with you? That is a sick dude. And I can't really say too much because I don't want to get like too upset or too angry. But just seeing that video in itself really just made me look at things differently with Diddy. I already knew that he had some issues, and I already knew that he had problems. But now, like, seeing it in real time, you're just like, okay, nah, you are not a good dude at all whatsoever, bro. And it's so sad that there are so many people out there who have to go through this kind of shit. And I really wish that we had more ways to protect women who go through domestic violence. Unfortunately, we know that it's hard to again to leave these situations when you're in a domestic dispute. And I don't want anyone to think that we are going to put blame on the women for what they, did or didn't have the courage to do. We don't do that here, because if you see how people are, then you don't, it's a life or death situation for some of these people. They are afraid to leave because that might mean they don't come out of this alive. And I really wish it wasn't like that, but unfortunately, too many of our black women have fallen victim to this, and it's just really a sad state of affairs. And so that's kind of how I felt about this whole Diddy situation. It really, whatever little respect I have for bro, is clearly out the window. And that apology that he had didn't seem sincere. It's like, okay, you're apologizing because you got caught, not because you truly meant it. Now, I personally, that's how I feel.
Mm.
Can Diddy change? Yes. I'm not going to sit here and saying that he cannot. Will he is the question.
Is he
And
still on the
knowing,
run?
I don't, I think so, to be honest. That's funny that you mentioned that, because I think he was somewhere in like some villa when he recorded that apology video. I'm like, oh, okay, well, he's clearly not in America right now, so yeah, it's obvious that he's got some shit going on. But I just wanted to point that out to anybody who has seen the apology and anybody who's seen that video. I'm so sorry, especially to our domestic violence survivors that you actually had to witness that again, because I know that can be very triggering. And so I do want to let you know that at the end of this conversation, if you don't want us to, to hear about this, we'll skip ahead and we'll let you know what number we're at. So that way you can skip ahead of this conversation. But I just thought it was important to have that conversation because the domestic disputes, especially within Black culture, are something that we want to be sure that we can stamp out as much as possible. Will we ever completely stamp it out? Unfortunately, no, because people are crazy and people are evil, and the way that life is it is what it is. But we want to do our part to be sure that the people around us are always protected. So with that, I'm gonna step back and let the other homies say what they gotta say if they have any words about it.
Oh, go ahead, Lo.
Um, yeah, nah. It just one shows that Hollywood is a dark place. Growing up and even now they portray it as this glamorous, star-studded place, and we don't see the behind the scenes. Like again, we live in a day and age of the camera and social media, and so to the average social media user, you only show what it is that you want the people to know, but you don't see the fact that okay, yeah, you're living this glamorous lifestyle, but you're still depressed or you're battling addiction. And it just so happens that this is Diddy's or Sean Combs' spotlight moment to show his gray area, if you want to call it that. Um, I pray that he finds help as to anyone who gets caught in allegations like this. But it's definitely not anything that I'm going to condone or idolize because that ain't it. We love our women, and they deserve way better treatment than what was displayed in that video.
Yeah. Also, not even just people that are survivors of domestic violence, but there are some people that grew up where their parents, they witnessed domestic violence with their parents and stuff like that as well. So there could be a trigger for them as well. So shout out to them too. We love y'all, support y'all. Much like Ked said, Diddy's apology didn't seem sincere. Well, it wasn't sincere. Let's just put it out there. It wasn't sincere. Diddy was pumping, banging on his chest and shit, talking about, oh yeah, when the proof comes out, it'll prove that these allegations are false and all this other stuff, knowing that there's a video out there. Like, bro, you know you wrong. You know what I'm saying? And for him to say it so blatantly and so like, you know what I'm saying, as you know what I'm saying, matter of factly, knowing that he did that and knowing that the reason why Cassie even, you know what I'm saying, decided to seek justice for it, you know what I'm saying, because she knew you did it, you knew you did it. So why would you even sit there and, in a sense, I mean, shit, not in a sense, you gaslighted her to say like, nah, these allegations are false and it's gonna come to the light and be proven that this false, bro. Like that's trash, bro. You knew what the fuck you did, so I can't respect it. I don't like it. That shit was not sincere. I don't care what he say. He doing it because he got to do it, or he feel like it's gonna save face. And it's just, you know what I'm saying. It is what it is. No, I don't. And then somebody that can look directly into the camera and say that after you just said, you know what I'm saying, like, nah, these allegations are false and all that other stuff. I don't even feel like you can change. You know what I'm saying? Because you just proven that you just a liar and shit like that. You're not even trying. So nah, I don't even believe you can change. So that's how I feel about it. I'm more direct. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know how I am. So yeah, that's who he is, bro. He's 50 something years old or 60, I'm not sure, but like,
It's the
man,
double back though. Like
yeah, yeah, ain't no
you feel
ain't no
me? Like
change
oh
in
yeah, I'm innocent. Nah, you've been
it.
stuck in your ways for a minute, dog.
Minute.
It's now
Yeah,
you just have been outed for it. So now
Mm-hmm.
guess what? You
yeah,
thought you was untouchable, and
yeah,
now the
yeah,
proof is in the pudding.
yeah.
Exactly.
And like to Kid point, like saying, do I think he can change? Bro, you in your 50s. about to be late 50s. So you about to be 60 years old. Ain't no change left. You know what I'm saying? Like you,
Hmm.
I mean, we know high blood pressure and all this other stuff with the black community. You know, hopefully not, but you got about a good 12, 15 solid ones left. There ain't no change left, brother. That's it. That's who he is. So, yeah, man. But that's how I feel about it.
I don't blame you, bro. And as you said, with somebody who's that old, there really isn't enough to say if he really will change. I always try to look at, or try to give people the benefit of the doubt. But as you said, he's been doing this for years. Is really just like, I don't think there's really any changing going on. And it sucks that Cassie had to deal with that. And as you said, he doubled back. He talked about how he was innocent and, that she was just looking for a paycheck and shit like that. And then the video releases and it's like, oh yeah, we just saw an example of Cassie being right, which means that at this point, we really don't trust you at all to tell the truth. And there's
Right.
a reason why that payday or that settlement came as fast as it did, because he knew that he was wrong. But I guess he wanted to have this public perception that he was being vilified. But at the end of the day, you still were wrong. And it's been a proven fact now at this point. So not only just for Cassie, but it also makes me wonder about the other women that Diddy have dealt with. Rest in peace to Kim Porter. I can only imagine the shit that she went through, and I don't even want to get into that because I know how quote unquote heartbroken Diddy seemed when she passed. But truth be told, what kind of psychological damage did you do to her? We can only speculate because unfortunately the dead can't speak. So yeah, that's really all I can say about that, man. Diddy, the diddler did it again, but this is a little more serious this time.
He was villain, man. Like, I mean, if these allegations is true that he held Wale over a balcony upside down, blew up Kid Cudi car, I'm not at this point with all that stuff going on, bro. I'm not putting it past him if he did set
No,
up
not
Biggie
either.
or set up Pac or all that shit. Like now, I'm like, at first I was just like, man, bro, like those were unfortunate situations. Now with all the stuff that's been coming out, I can't, I can't put it past him if he did. I
Mm,
mean, because
amen.
apparently there was even an argument like that Biggie was trying to get out of his Bad Boy deal, and that was supposed to
Ooh.
be his last album. And there's like stuff that people talk about with that. So it's like, if that's the case, who's to say that he didn't do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, who knows at this point?
Mm-hmm. That's crazy, bro. That is absolutely crazy. And if that rumor about Biggie is true, then yeah, that really makes me wonder. Like, yo, did you set Biggie up too? Like,
Yeah.
sheesh. I don't mean to put the tinfoil hat on, but now I'm like, wow. But
Because I mean,
again,
did he screw everybody out of their money?
yeah.
And apparently Biggie figured it out, and he wanted out. I mean, that's the speculation. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, like you said, the dead can't speak, so nobody
Mm-hmm.
knows. But that was the rumor from Lil Season them camp.
Man, that's crazy to think about. But we do have proof that yeah, he's been cheating a lot of artists out of their money, man. If you look at every artist that was underneath Bad Boy, with maybe the exception of, excuse me, Machine Gun Kelly, because he does pop now or pop rock. But if you look at everybody that's been under Bad Boy, there's always been something about money, always money disputes. And none of these artists like truly have their masters for real, for real.
Mhm.
I think who was the one artist that just got their masters from Diddy, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to
Mace,
remember. Say again.
Mace got him,
May. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So.
and he really gave him the Mace after like the allegations and stuff started popping up of like all
Mhm.
this crazy stuff. Then he just was like, I don't know if that was to save face or what, but to me, like you know what I'm saying, it's a win for Mace, but it's like man, that's a red flag. You trying to deflect and you gave up the masters just so that could happen to show this image of like, see, I take care of people. But
Hmm.
nah, man.
Nope, 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 not at all, not at all. But anyway, guys, we are gonna go ahead and move away from this topic
Wait,
again.
do you want to talk about King and his disc?
Ooh. I didn't even hear it because I didn't want to waste no time. But did you? Did you hear it? And could you speak a little bit about it?
I heard it is trash. But it was like, why would you diss 50? Out of all the people that's just gonna make your life hell for the
Hmm.
rest of your life, like, bro, like, why would you diss 50? That was crazy. And then he said some stupid line of the feds checked the wrong house. They should have checked the one next door because we own that one too. And it's like that's how you can tell a nigga kind of like ain't really been through nothing.
Right.
Because like you can't play those games with the feds, bro.
Nope.
Because even if it's not true, now we can use it against you in court. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? Like that's stupid. like
Yeah.
bro. But yeah, that disc was trash though. It was trash. I just
I'm
wanted to
glad
bring
I
it up.
ain't. Yeah, I'm glad I ain't waste my time on that because I damn sure was like, oh, he dropped a diss song because apparently we all know 2024 is the year of the hater and the year of the diss tracks. But I didn't want to waste my time with that because I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be trash. And surely enough, I'm glad you made the ultimate sacrifice to listen to that because I sure as hell wasn't about to touch that.
He
Wait,
said
wait, you said who made it this? I'm sorry.
uh King
King
Kong
Diddy son.
Uh,
did his son. And then
dissing
he
who?
said he dissed 50 and he was saying like he'll slap anybody that say no Diddy, all this other. I was like, bro, do you know the target you just put on your back? Everywhere you go, people gonna scream no Diddy just to troll you. like that was dumb. So
Yeah. I
but yeah.
mean, you got to think about like the magnitude of like what his family is facing, and so now you purposely are putting yourself in the spotlight. Yeah, you're next to get gunned down.
Bro, crazy. Like, and this would happen before the video was released. But it was like Kendrick and Drake was the biggest distraction from Diddy. And you brought it back up in the spot. Like, what are you doing, bro? like lay low and let that shit die down. That shit was it was dumb.
But
Um,
on top of that, he got allegations for sexual misconduct too.
I believe it.
Apparently, one of the people that were hired to work on the yacht they were on said that he forced her to take shots of tequila and some other shit. Like, yeah, like
Crazy.
that shit run in the family.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
whole family got problems.
I mean, he probably seen his daddy doing it so much, he probably think it was okay. And that's what he been raised on. So thinking that it's
Mm.
gonna be cool. But like 50 Cent made a post or whatever, and he was like, "Oh, I'm scared for my life," and posted a picture of King, and it was just like, that's just, it's just a bad idea, bro. Like that nigga been giving your daddy hell for years. Why do you think you finna be the one to take this nigga down?
It,
Not at
bruh,
all.
and yeah, and 50 himself is just beyond petty when it comes to beefing with folks. So I don't know why he just thought that that was a good idea, because just recently, man, when the New York Knicks lost to the Indiana Pacers and the Pacers went on to the Eastern Conference Finals, we see a video of this nigga Ja Rule touching the
The
trophy.
championship trophy, yeah.
Yeah, he's touching the Larry O'Brien, and this nigga 50 was like, "Well, that's why we lost." Like, don't let this fool touch the trophy.
He been trolling niggas for a year, and not even just trolling niggas. Like he really like that too. So
Hmm.
that's what's even crazier. It's like I'm pretty sure King ain't never been in no kind of shit. And if if the whole thing goes the way that it's supposed to go, and Diddy does go to prison, who's protecting you, brother? because
Nobody.
Nobody.
like that is gonna be a um long battle. Because I remember I was just listening to the Joe Budden thing, and he was talking about. I remember when I did 50, and he said we was at the club. He said, and then he said like 200 people came in there. And then he said they came over to us in the VIP section. He said it was 50 and his little goons and stuff. And he was all like, and this is me. He was all like, he was like, he said, I'm moving gutter gutter too. He said he came in there with 200 people. We had to stand down. He said, I can't
Mm,
imagine what he's finna do to King. And I was like, yeah, it's not gonna be good.
mm.
But hey, you play games, that's what you're gonna get.
Yep. Play
Play
stupid games,
stupid
win stupid
games with super
prizes.
rewards.
Yep.
Yeah, you my dog, boy. That's been our saying for the longest.
Yep. Yep. Or once again, fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
Show enough. Show enough. Well, with that in mind, guys, we are gonna go ahead and get to the next topic. This one's gonna be really quick. I just got to get a little bit of a rant off. We have to talk about the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, pardoning Daniel Perry. Now, I do want to put this out there because if you know the situation, then you know why this was stupid as hell. And I don't even really know what to make of it, but it just really made me not like Greg Abbott that much more. And it's really crazy. So I'm gonna bring up an article here from MSNBC, and I'm actually gonna go ahead and share it within the video here for our audience, so that way, of course, you can see what we're talking about here, and you can read along with us. As soon as it, decides to act right. And okay. All right. So here we go. On Thursday, a convicted murderer serving a 25-year sentence was set free in Texas. He wasn't set free because DNA analysis determined he was innocent, nor were there some legal technicalities successfully raised on an appeal. Daniel Perry, who was an active duty Army sergeant at the time of his crime, never disputed that he shot and killed 28-year-old Air Force veteran Garrett Foster in front of multiple witnesses during a 2020 Black Lives Matter protest in Austin. Rather, Perry was pardoned by Texas Governor Greg Abbott, as Abbott had promised to do the day after the jury issued its verdict. Abbott promised to free Perry even though a Texas grand jury indicted Perry and a jury of Perry's peers in Texas convicted him. Abbott promised a pardon before the pardon board, whose members he appoints, issued its findings. The governor was under pressure to issue the pardon from a number of high profile conservatives, including Tucker Carlson. According to the Houston Chronicle, Thursday was the first time in at least decades that a Texas governor has pardoned someone for a serious violent crime, let alone murder. Adding to the highly charged political nature of this pardon, Abbott was scheduled to address the 2024 National Rifle Association conference this weekend, along with former president and current candidate DJT. According to Foster's mother, he attended the BLM demonstrations day after day, animated by the injustice of a Minneapolis police officer killing George Floyd. Ironically, Foster's mother described Foster as a Second Amendment advocate, and witnesses say Foster was carrying a rifle on a strap around his neck the day he died. Perry drove his car up to a crowd of protesters who surrounded his vehicle. From inside his car, Perry drew a handgun and fired at Foster. Most witnesses described Foster as having his rifle slung tight to his chest, pointed down at the ground with his finger off the trigger. Witnesses say they never saw Foster raise his firearm at Perry. Yet those details mattered neither to Abbott nor his pardon board. They said Foster's weapon was in the low ready gun position, which they say is enough to call Perry's actions self defense. That's interesting because Perry never claimed Foster was pointing his rifle at him. Perry told police, I believe he was going to aim his rifle at me. I didn't want to give him a chance. Saying you shot someone you thought might eventually aim a weapon at you isn't self-defense. It's an admission that you weren't being threatened. If Perry didn't shoot Foster out of self-defense, then what was the motivation? During trial, prosecutors presented messages Perry sent before the shooting. Some of the messages talked of wanting to kill Muslims, black people, and protesters. Other messages included, I might have to kill a few people on my way to work. They are rioting outside my apartment complex. It is official. I'm racist because I do not agree with people acting like animals at the zoo. I might go to Dallas to shoot looters. No protesters go near me or my car. Perry, who is white and was serving in the military, shot Foster, who was also white and a military veteran. Both were legally carrying their weapons that day. So this wasn't about Foster's skin color, just as it wasn't about a legally accepted self defense claim. For both Perry and Abbott, this murder and subsequent pardon were about Foster's cause, Black Lives Matter, and whom Foster chose to associate with. It's hard to imagine a Black Lives Matter protester killing someone politically opposed to that cause and that warranting a pardon from Abbott. The governor setting Perry free suggests that in Texas, it's open season on protesters whose cause isn't approved by the governor. Texans are known for valuing at least two things, their freedom and their guns. Yet, with this pardon, Texas should wonder whether their constitutional right to peacefully protest and to lawfully carry a weapon depend on what they're protesting and who's carrying the gun. Yeah.
Yeah, that's I mean, listening to the way that you said how Foster was carrying it, strapped against his chest, super tight, which means that he would have to really, like with me being in the military, or ex-military, I know, like if that strap is tight, like you gotta really do some shit to get get the gun up. You know what I'm saying? Because it's tight.
Mm-hmm.
It's like skin tight against your chest. And if it's in the, like you said, it's in the low muzzle in the dirt is what we call it. No hand on
Mm-hmm.
it. That's like as safe as it can be. Weapon on safe, muzzle in the dirt. You know what I'm saying? No hand on it. The low ready position. If you're in the low ready position, which I know low ready is like you are like kind of like crouching, if that makes sense. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to explain it. I mean, you've seen movies where they kind of like going through a hallway or something like that with their gun pointed down, but they kind of like their knees are like kind of bent, kind of
Yeah.
walking through the hallway. That's a low ready. So if he's standing like that, then everybody in that motherfucker would probably be running. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because it just looks suspicious. Like no. So yeah, that's bogus. Um, and it's clear as day. You know what I'm saying? What side Greg got to stand on?
Clearly. Clearly. Law, you got any words or comments?
Just hearing based off that article what was going on, that's still wild to me. And I've taken gun safety courses, so like they always teach you like the main point to ever be safe when it comes to being around anyone. Safety on, hands off the trigger, like you said, muzzle in the dirt. You know what I'm saying? You never point the gun at anybody or any object unless you plan on firing at it. So for him to have literally just been standing there, yeah, no, you literally pulled a KKK move and just said open season, you know. So just when it comes down to the whole thing, like it's disheartening, honestly. And I wanted to give a quick shout out to Roger Fortson, the Air Force um, airman, senior airman down in Florida, who actually succumbed to police brutality. He was at his home, and they mistook him being in his home with his firearm as the active person that they were looking for, and they shot him 6 times in his crib. So like these situations are time and time again as to reason why we need to actually go back and do a thorough vetting of the people that are within our not only military, political offices, and police forces, because it's happening too often that these people are getting away with murder, and you have high position holding politicians who are willing to give them the pardon for it.
100%. And it's been a while since we actually had a conversation relating to these topics, but I thought that it was important that we talked about this because, here, while I don't necessarily own a firearm, I know with me moving to Baltimore, I'm going to have to protect myself. That being said, you know, we have, at least in our pod, we believe in 2A rights with reason, quote unquote, with reason. That being said, it's just crazy that this sort of thing, like when you have someone who is, again, not of, he's the same skin color as the person who shot him, white, you know, and they both have their 2A rights, but clearly That guy was out there to cause trouble, to take somebody's life, and think that he would get away with it. And he initially did not, but the governor just decided, oh, I'm going to pardon him anyway, because they have some preconceived notion about what the Black Lives Matter protests were truly about. So now it just begs in the question, well, what can we as Americans technically protest? If it's a protest that is not in agreement with what our leadership is, does that necessarily mean that we don't have the right to live?
I mean, it's clearly premeditated, bro.
Yeah,
It's
clearly.
like him saying what he said. That's premeditated. So which should tack on more time, not get you pardoned.
Right. Literally the text messages and the messages saying that that you might kill protesters, or you're racist because you don't like animals, people like acting like animals in the zoo and other shit. This is like, yo, it's the proof is there. This dude feels a way about certain people. And yet here you go, because you were pressured by a known racist, who happened to have a primetime slot at the time. Thank God Tucker Carlson is technically off primetime, but he still has apparently a lot of influence. But the fact that you did that, it just proves to me that you really truly don't care about the people of color unless they agree with your side. Like, mind you, we could talk all day about how we don't necessarily agree with uh with people of color that are on the right side of the aisle. I have plenty of issues with people like that, but that's not to say that they don't have the right to talk about what they want to talk about, or right to protest what they want to protest. I think it might be stupid, but they have that right. And so for you to pardon the dude who literally went out and premeditatedly killed somebody, they literally had to think about it, pulled the like took out their gun when the other person's gun was in no position to actually hurt anybody, and you took a life. I really don't know how to describe it other than I ain't moving to Texas no time soon, bro. More power to you, Steve, for that. But it's clear that I don't know if I would be able to feel protected in Texas, even if I had a firearm, because it just seems like a lot of people who are in positions of power have this preconceived notion and just have this idea that people are inferior and shit like that. And I don't want to have to deal with that.
Yeah,
My
I
other
mean, I
thing
live here
is,
because I got to. I mean, yeah.
I feel you, bro.
I was gonna say, I just don't understand how, like, nowhere. Well, I'm pretty sure there are other instances, but I've never heard in an instance where somebody can get convicted of murder and they already have a planned pardon set up so that you can get off from your crime. Like,
Me either, bro. I've never heard that.
and I mean,
Never.
again, it boils back down to skin color because let it have been, a black man shooting a white person in cold blood.
Hmm.
They're gonna throw the book at them and hope that they don't ever see the light of day again. No,
But
no possibility of parole. And then I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, Steve. Don't Texas have death penalty?
I think so. I'm not sure. I ain't gonna even lie to you.
Last time I checked, yeah, they did have the death
I
penalty.
think they still do. I know Georgia does for sure too. Um,
So you let it have been a black man shooting a white man. They giving him the death penalty, and if not that, a life sentence with no possibility of parole. Like, so
double life,
you
double
know,
life sentence.
it
Because
just it blows.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
I mean, that just whole thing, and then you just law just brought up, you know what I'm saying, somebody getting shot 6 times, like that's a police training thing, bro. Like because in the military, which we're at war and we're trained to kill, we're still supposed to be doing controlled pairs, which is only 2 shots, and then when you fire back, then I can shoot again. You see what I'm saying? So we're trained to do that, and we're taught to kill. And police officers are supposed to protect, and they releasing whole clips on people. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy.
Mm, mm. Yeah, I, I ain't got no words, man. Other than to the people of Texas, to the people of color in Texas, I'm praying for y'all daily. Like absolutely praying for y'all daily, and that y'all don't that y'all will go about, doing what you got to do, and that you feel protected in your own home. And I hope that you don't run into a situation like this. But I always say this is why it's important to vote, because it's not just about presidential elections. It's about your congressman. It's about your state council, your state congressman. About your state senator. It's about your local councilman, your school board, your sheriffs, your governor. Like, take the time to participate in these elections. And I know that I'm not trying to be preachy and whatnot, but when you have situations like these and you want to make a difference, it's important to make your voice heard at the ballot. And just remember that yes, the president of the United States, the general election is one thing, but what's truly going to make a difference in your community is these local elections and these state elections. That's how you know whether your state is going to truly prosper the way you want it to. And so I just recommend that people continue to exercise their right to vote, despite how despite how hopeless it may seem, because our ancestors literally died and got beaten and got bitten and hosed down just to have that right. And so I will never, ever in my life, take that for granted. And that's why as soon as I move to Maryland, I'm changing my voter registration to Maryland. It's already active in Virginia, but now I got to change it to another state. So I'm gonna be sure that I exercise my right. Now I can't speak for anybody else. I'm just speaking for me and what my opinion is on that.
Nah, that's always been a point, no matter whether it's local or if it's for the president of the United States. I implore everybody, regardless of who you like it's still about, putting the best foot forward. That's really what it's about. You have the opportunity and the right to vote. We don't live in a autocracy or bureaucracy.
That's it.
I I didn't wait. Did I say it right?
Well, yeah, you said we don't live in an
Dictatorship.
autocracy, and and all I said was yeah, not yet. But from the way shit looking now, if folk don't vote,
Like we have the option. We don't get told who's going to be and what just because they tell us what. Like we have the option. Exercise your right.
right? Absolutely. With that, y'all, we'll move on to the next topic. Just a quick note. I just wanted to highlight this because this was funny. For those who are not aware of going back to Texas, uh, we have a representative from Texas by the name of Jasmine Crockett. Shout out to the good Reds at Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and a woman who has studied law, a black woman. The way that she gathered that stooge of a congressman, I don't even want to really call her name, but obviously it's Marjorie Taylor Greene. But the way that she gathered her was so hilarious. And I know that this goes back into a topic that I don't really like to talk about, because we know that when it comes to white people, they can dish it out, but they can't take it, because they're quick to play victim, especially when it comes to a person of color. What did that tweet say? He said, "What is white math if I'm an aggressor and then am met with a response that I'm not prepared for? Now I am the victim." That's clearly what happened here, because Marjorie Taylor Greene decided that she was going to come at Jasmine Crockett, Representative Jasmine Crockett, excuse me, because she said that she had to fix her fake eyelashes. And Jasmine Crockett said, point of order, of course, personal attacks are not allowed on the Congress floor. So I am, specifically asking for an apology. But the chairman of the House, I believe, I forgot what committee it was, but of that particular House committee, the chairman denied it. So then Jasmine Crockett called another point of order, and I'll just play the video here because I think that this is just absolutely hilarious. And wait, 1 second, because I again trying to get this video up, and I want to be sure that I can share it with everybody. All right, now let's pray.
I'd like to know if any of the Democrats on this committee are employing Judge Merchan's daughter.
Please tell me what that has to do with Merrick Garland.
Is she a porn star?
Oh, Goldman. That's right. He's advising. Okay.
He's advising who? What? Do you know what we're here for? You know we're here about AG.
I don't think you know what you're here for.
Well, you the one talking about. I guess
I think your fake eyelashes are messing up.
No, ain't nothing.
Hold on.
Listen.
Order,
Mr. Chairman. That's beneath even
the order of your committee.
Order.
I do have a point of order, and I would like to move to take down Ms. Green's words. That is absolutely unacceptable. How dare you attack the physical appearance of another person?
Are your feelings hurt?
Her words down.
Oh,
girl, baby girl.
Oh, really?
Don't even play,
baby girl. I don't think
we are gonna move, and we're gonna take your words down.
I second that motion.
So who will have to pay us? Okay. But Ms. Green agrees to strike her words.
I believe she
Chair
should apologize.
recognizes
No.
Perry. Okay, hold on. Then after Mr. Perry's going to be recognized, then Ms. Green
I'm not
has 4 minutes and
apologizing.
21
Well,
seconds.
then
Okay,
you're
reserve
not
the right to
striking your
object.
words.
I am
Mr.
not
Chair,
apologizing.
Now let's go. Come on, guys.
Why don't you debate me?
Mr. Chairman, the
think
minority.
it's pretty self-evident.
You're not.
Yeah, you're
out
not.
of order.
You don't have enough
You're out of order.
intelligence.
Chair recognizes Mr. Perry.
Okay, move to strike
I'd like to
I
strike
move to
those
strike the
words
lady's
as well.
words.
I move to
I would
strike-
like
I move to strike
order.
the lady's
as well.
words again.
That's 2 requests to strike. That's 2 requests to strike.
Now, obviously, I forgot to mention that AOC also got involved in this well, and she was giving her hell. But let's continue.
Oh, they cannot take the
There's
words.
another motion to strike her words again. Please
All right.
get
Okay.
your members under
Here's the
control.
correct priority. Ms. Green, do you agree to unanimous consent to strike your words?
I repeat again for the second time. Yes, I'll strike
right.
my words, but I'm not
all right.
apologizing.
Without objection.
Not apologizing.
21 seconds.
Mr. Chair, point of order.
Who's
It's me.
Ms. Crockett?
I'm just curious, just to better understand your ruling. If someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
A what now?
Blonde bangs, bad bill.
I don't think that's
Education on what quality?
I had to get to that part, but yeah.
Okay, I knew where you was going with it. I wanted to hear it verbatim because I was weak when they actually posted it, and because like when I first saw it, I was just like, why are they coming for this woman like this? And then I did the research and I watched the clip, and so like hearing it for the second time now is even more funny to me for the fact that she threw her to the sharks. Okay.
She asked for that shit.
She asked for that. I'm sorry. Like I still don't get why the people in that district of Georgia keep sending her back. But it's clear that she does not know what the hell she's doing in Congress. She's just there to be a chaos agent and there to just do some stupid shit. But in any case,
you came at her, not only her intelligence, but you came at her appearance. Like those have nothing to do with points of being at council. The point of being at council is to represent whatever state it is that you're trying to move for change for. So she got that triple B. She earned that triple B.
No, yeah, she absolutely did. She absolutely 100% earned all of that. And so I just had to laugh because it's like, yo, Jasmine Crockett gathered her real quick. And I don't know what this kind of Marjorie Taylor Greene is just it's a word that I choose not to say, but literally, like, I don't know what kind of.
Let me be your anchor translator, kid. Which word? Help me out. Feed it to me.
Man, hold on. Look, I'm just trying to get. What's a good word for?
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Does it rhyme with punt?
Yeah.
I'm about to say, what's my favorite word?
But that, and I'm just gonna be honest, like, yo, that is a true Neanderthal of a woman. I don't even want to call her a woman. Like, she is below caveman at this point. Like, she thinks that she is so intelligent and so smart. Really, truly, she's just as stupid as they come. And you're arguing with an actual lawyer. So AOC and Crockett had to put her in her place, and I'm glad that they did. And even though she's like, I'm not apologizing, well, that's why you got insulted again. And I just really hope that they continue to dunk on her while in Congress, because she has no business being in a congressman's chair at all. So, but racism is as racism goes. Thank God that she does not represent me or my state or any of the districts that I'm moving to. So that's all I got to say about that. But I just thought that was hilarious.
Exactly.
Now we can get to the main topic, but before we do, Law, did you have another quick note that you wanted to add?
Off of the Triple B comment,
or just in general, because I know that you said like at the beginning of the pod that you had something that you wanted to talk about real quick, or make a quick note of.
I wanted to kind of pick you all's brains and kind of figure out, like, how do y'all feel about the club culture and how it's changed from even when all of us were coming up to how it is now? If I can give a little bit of a caveat to it, basically, growing up, going to the club used to be, I mean, it was a point of, going out, releasing stress from the week, cool, whatever. But it took a turn from, going out as a point of having fun to now artists are putting out new music because that's the way that they can get exposure to what I see now, which is, it was always a flexing point, but as of now, I see it more of as just kind of like a stand around meetup type situation. Like, you don't see I mean, and this is coming from somebody who, like, I go to the club on occasion. It's not, often, but when I go, it's just kind of like I'm standing around. It's kind of like a pocket watch just to see who's spending money versus, actually going out to socialize and have fun. So I wanted to ask y'all the question of, how do y'all view the club culture now that we're getting a little bit older in age?
That's an excellent question. So, from my perspective, coming from someone who used to promote for clubs and promote for parties back in my early 20s, I see the changes that have happened since I came into club culture. Once upon a time, I used to go to the club not only yet for it to be a stress reliever, but I was going to dance, and I was going to
Yes,
dance with,
sir.
yeah. And if a woman says that she was, willing to dance, because consent flows only, then I was ready to be like, all right, cool, we dance together. And then even when I had VIP, because again, I was a promoter, I would come out of VIP and come dance within the crowd. And then when I was tired, I would go sit back down in VIP. But then when I got my energy back up, I would come right back out and dance and socialize, mingle with the club folk, drink, have fun with them. And then again, when I got tired, I would go sit back down. And if I needed to take a little bit of a breather, of course, then bottle service and whatnot. But that was still my time period where we literally would go out to the club just so that we can dance with other people. Man, I remember I got one of the best. Sorry, mom. I got one of the best lap dances at the club. So I'm gonna just leave that at that. Do what
Yes,
you will with
sir.
that information. But I remember, like, my homie, and she was just like, "You want a lap dance?" I said, "I ain't saying no." Shit, I popped the chair and let her do her thing. And so that's kind of what the culture that I've come from. Nowadays, I go to a party that's like, say it's homecoming for Hampton. And like one of the last homecoming parties I went to, people were just standing around. It's like, okay, nobody's really on the dance floor dancing for real.
Facts.
Or those who had bought like VIP tickets, y'all are just dancing in VIP. You're not really dancing with each other, or y'all might do it a little bit, but y'all really just came out here to flex that you got a VIP ticket and that you're trying to show off. I'm like, yeah, I get that we alumni, and then being a Hampton alumni, there's quote unquote status involved with that. But truth be told, man, I ain't come out here to flex. I want to like talk with y'all. I want to talk to the folk that I ain't seen in like years. I want to dance with y'all, because who knows when the last time that we gonna get to dance together, if any time at all, because either some of y'all got significant others or some of y'all might be married. Now, the married folk, if you coming out there, I get it. I ain't gonna bother that. But if I know that you single, or I know that you just out here, then why are we like socializing together? Why do you have to like flex and get bottle service and be in a VIP section that costs like $600? Like, what? I mean, granted, I know it's between multiple people, so you might be able to make that work, but still,
It's
it's like you just
overrated though.
yeah, it really is. Like, I don't want to go out just to stand around and look at you or the people watch. Like, I want to go out so I can talk, so I can drink with you, so I can dance with you, so that we can have a good fucking time. And so I can, for all practical purposes, sweat it out. Shit, I remember the days, man, that sometimes the club would be so fucking packed, and we were still dancing like whatever weave or whatever lace front that the ladies had on would get sweated out, and then I would become fresh from the barber. That hairline that they drew on my head would be gone, pretty much.
Hey, yo.
Hey, nah, he's telling no lies. Like, and I mean, I get it, cool. You putting that shit on, you know what I'm saying? You got your threads on, so you don't want to get, you know what I'm saying, messed up. But you can still, be social. It ain't gotta be a wall holding up contest
I'm
and
saying
I'm just flexing that I'm buying bottles, but I'm not even really drinking the bottles. Like, you know what I'm saying? And cool, if you got it like that, you feel me? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
exactly.
But like, you know what I'm saying? It's changed so much to the point where it's just like, I mean, I'd much rather just, you know what I'm saying, cop a bottle and chill in the crib. Cause you feel me? Like, I'm gonna pay $20-$30 to get into the club just to be standing around. Ain't nobody dancing. Everybody within it, like, I mean, I get it. You come with your partners, you come with your homegirls, y'all cool and kicking it, cool. But when like Ked said, the HU days, we used to literally go in to the party for one mission, and that was to catch twerk. That was to
Yep.
dance, to have fun. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yes, sir.
we already did the pre-gaming. So you feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Now we trying to see how far we done pushed our liver to the limit. And we trying to, like he said, shake it off, because we going to where after? Waffle House, aha,
Yep.
Diddy's. Because you know what I'm saying? We done burnt all the liquor off. So now we gotta replenish and get back right for the next day. So I want the old club culture to come back, where everybody can pop out, have a good time, socialize. You know what I'm saying? Not just, oh, I got 20,000 on my face, my VVS shining, don't touch me, I'm a bad bitch. That like, come on. Y'all came to the club to have a good time.
Facts. Shit. You speaking facts right now, bro. And to be honest, to piggyback off of that, man, them HU parties, bro. And I already know that Steve had some wild moments at the
I
colleges that he
can't
been to. We talked about
I
that on
can't
It's
even
Time to
talk
Mind with
about
Blur.
that.
I'm saying that's a whole nother discussion for another pod.
That's
But
Patreon content.
exactly. We'll have to talk about that on the side. But nah, for real, it's like for us, for HU parties, like the Highland parties used to be packed. For me, they used to do student center ballroom parties, so the windows used to be super foggy because we was putting in work. We used to, of course, have the block parties, which I know HU does like very occasionally now, but like the block parties, they used to be like some of the best, like the best moments at HU ever. I used to catch twerk without even sometimes asking for it at the block parties. It's just you have girls literally run up to you, grab you, and just start, and you like, hey, it is what it is. That's how crazy it used to get. But now, like in club culture itself, at least with black club culture, we just see folk just again holding the wall, the people watching, and trying to show off. Now, this might be different if you go to like a white club or predominantly white club or a mixed club or something like that. You might still have, people not really flexing like that, because white people, they don't care. They get drunk and they have fun. At least from what I've seen. And ain't nothing wrong with that.
That's
It's probably
facts.
why a lot of the times when I went home to Charleston, I would go to the white people club, because I knew that they was gonna be lit one way or the other. But that's just me. That's kind of how I see it. I do want the club culture to go back to what it used to be, with all of us being able to dance and socialize, drink, and just have fun with each other. Steve, you got any comments?
Yeah, give me half a second. I'm gonna step in this car because I know
Okay.
I'm out in nature. All right, I'm in the car now. Yeah,
Okay.
for me, bro, like being real, like I fucks with that because I miss when like Cash Money from the 99 and 2000 would come on and everybody would run to the floor, things like that. Like that shit was live.
Mm-hmm.
And like now, like, it's changed where like, everybody is like a pretty girl and they just want to stand and chill and stuff, which is cool. That's they right. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I've heard like girls say that now, like that was so childish. We used to twerk on people and blah blah blah. And I was like, yeah, but I thought it was just people having fun. You know what I'm saying? And then if you look
Mm-hmm.
at the Caribbean and Dominican and all these different things, that's just part of their culture. They just dance and having a good time. But
Carnival
Yep.
in
is
us,
lit.
yeah. So it's like one of those things. Now, obviously, I don't miss the club culture when I used to be with the ignorant people. You know what I'm saying? Listening to Lil
Mm-hmm.
Jon and East Side Boys and things like that at a party, expecting to get into some shit. You know what I'm saying? But like, I miss the like just people having fun. You know what I'm saying? And just living life. That shit was live, man. I used to love going to the club, you know what I'm saying, and just having fun. I mean, I didn't really start to enjoy the club until we got to like grown and sexy, 25 and up type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because then it was like, it wasn't a bunch of people in there trying to get into no stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just
Right.
pretty much just people having a good time and stuff like that. So I definitely miss those vibes. I'm a little older, so, we used to wear button downs. You know what I'm saying? That was
Oh,
the
bruh.
style back in the day. Them big ass button downs. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that was that's what we was into. And then it slowly transitioned into polos and stuff like that.
Yep.
But yeah, man, I missed that, man. That shit was lit.
Yeah, man. I 100% wholeheartedly agree. I came in on the tail end of the the business casual wear for the club, and then again we transitioned to polos, and now it's kind of just like whatever, depending on the club that you go to. But I
Who
also
got the best
was.
designer on? I got
Mm-hmm.
Mason Margiela on my feet. I got Gucci on
Yeah.
my belt. You know what I'm saying? Subi jeans with the Balenci. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying?
That
You
shit
got
fine.
a $12,000 fit on to go to the club for 2 hours, and you're like, you only show up from, you know what I'm saying, 12 to 2, 12 to 4, depending upon where you at.
Hey,
Mm-hmm.
I ain't gonna lie. I used to be that dude that used to be like, drinks is free till 11. And I used to be in that bitch at 9:30.
No, I'm saying, bro.
And look,
Lit.
there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with pulling up and you going to party on your own budget. That's what I'm saying. Like it was a post somebody had made, and they were basically just like, you know what I'm saying? The people who want to have fun or throwing money don't show up until 12, 1 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? Okay, let the people who want to, you know what I'm saying, ball within their budget show up for happy hour or show up for
I'm saying.
free drinks. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, okay, cool. You might have showed up early. Guess what? By the time you get to the point where they start charging again, you still spending money.
Mm-hmm.
And you spending money right beside the people that actually spending money on the sections and the bottle girls. And you know what I'm saying? Everybody gonna eat at some fashion or form of the table. You feel me? You can't knock somebody for just showing up early so that they can get a good seat. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, that's facts. That's facts. And same thing with Steve, man. I used to be one of those people before I started getting like the VIP treatments, because I would be promoting for parties and shit. I just go to the club early, like, hey, uh I'm trying to get in before a certain hour, and then I'm trying to get a couple drinks before a certain hour. And me being me, because I had the wherewithal to know what time to leave the club, because clubs in Charleston were pretty much, when they say 2 o'clock, they really mean 1:30, 1:45. But for me, because I know how, unfortunately our people are, I was out of that bitch by like 1:15, 1:20, because I knew like once the club started letting down and people start hanging around, that's when the hooligans start coming out and,
Yes,
shit
sir.
start popping off. So I'd be the one to be like, yep, I'm about to leave the club early. But I was also one of those people who, if I know that there's a bad vibe and I don't feel comfortable, I'm a dip out early regardless. I I would not. I remember like there was one party that was literally around the corner from my mama's crib. I went there and the vibes was just all off. I'm like, yo, something don't feel right. Something does not feel right. At like 12:30, that feeling didn't go away. I'm like, I gotta go. I'm a dip out. I'll catch y'all. Tell me why that next morning I checked the news and there was a shooting.
And
So I
go with
was
your
like,
gut.
yep. Sometimes you just gotta go with your gut. But as per what Steve said, like when it comes to that situation, it's like when to leave and when to get out. But when it comes to the actual party vibes and not the foolish vibes, when it comes to the club, man, yeah, definitely, I definitely want to go back to that. I definitely want to go back to a time where we can just chill, um, before the people got in, and then just overall just have the club or the club floor just be full and packed full of people and just have fun, dance, and pretty much throw all our cares away. So that I appreciate you bringing up that topic, Law, because that's definitely something that we don't really touch upon a lot these days, and I think it's really important that we talk about it because club culture, man, it's not the same. Then again, now me being 33, I'm more than likely going to be hitting up the grown and sexy parties. If I do go out, if that shit is not 25 and up, don't call me, don't text me, don't be like, yo, come to this joint. Oh, it's free for 21 and up. Nope. Gotta be 25.
I
And then we can
think
talk.
I think a thing that might have like low key kind of killed a little bit of the club culture too. I think what we really enjoyed was music videos, bro. Like seeing
Oh
them
yeah.
dance and do stuff in the music videos used to be lit. And then once BET and MTV stopped showing music videos, bro, it was kind of like one of those things where it kind of just went away. And now rappers on their IG be posting guns and shit. So that's the thing right now. Everybody is
Mhm.
posting guns, and you know what I'm saying? Like World Star had all the fights and things like that. So it's done transition to that. And then when you do see like a music video, like it's like WAP or something like that, where it's still like a good video, but they not in the club. So it's not giving those feelings. You know what I'm saying? Whereas like we
Mhm.
had the Hot in Here video, we had Excuse Me Miss, we had all these crazy different in the club videos, bro. And that was like
Yep.
the vibes back then.
Nah, for real, it definitely was, man. Shit. Uh I don't know why that reminded me of a, a random club song, bro. Marcus Houston and Joe Budden
Bro,
up in the
I was
club.
just about to sing it like that when I said it. When I said it, I was gonna sing it.
Bruh. That was my shit, but that was just like, yo, that was really random as hell how I just remembered that song.
That shit was a banger. You know,
Look,
we be up in the club. That shit was
right.
a banger.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was produced and written by he who shall not be named, but still, it was a banger.
Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah, man,
man, I
big
just
shout out
missed
to
that
Marcus
that
Houston. I miss
atmosphere.
that vibe. Yes, yeah. Shoot, even some of like the songs that really weren't about being in the club, but they were just in the club. It
During the
that's I
video.
Yeah, doing
Yeah,
a video just for no reason, like Smiles and South Star. Tell me what you think is going on. I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah,
it's about a ruined relationship. Why are y'all in the club?
yeah. Just enjoy themselves.
Right.
Yeah, bro.
But nah, that shit was funny as hell. But there's a lot of truth to that, man. Like the club vibes back in like the 2000s era that's really what we wanted to do. And that just reminded me there was so many things that I wanted to do that we didn't get to do. I
Spring bling.
Spring Bling, bro, MTV Spring Break, all of that. Never got a chance to do it.
Yep. Only
Man.
thing that I got to do that everybody was doing was back when BET used to do that HBCU tour.
Oh,
I was
okay.
I was at PV when that happened, so
Damn.
that was pretty cool.
Damn.
But
You know what? Growing up, I like I didn't idolize it, but I was just like, I'm gonna make it there to see that shit. I'm sorry for anyone listening. Goddamn, I was gonna goddamn go see Girls Go Wild.
Girls Go Wild.
I was just
I
like,
want to
that
be
shit
there.
look.
Man, like it's just crazy to think like those things was like nostalgic, but they also just gave those vibes of I want to do that. And I don't feel like we have that anymore in our culture for a lot of things.
Yeah,
You know
nah,
what I'm saying? Like
that
where
shit
it's just
dead.
yeah, social media done took over, and then with social media taking over, it's just more so idolizing the person, not the atmosphere. You know
Right.
That
what I'm
part.
saying? And I think that kind of takes away from what we used to love and enjoy so much.
Man, I hope that there are some famous ass people who or maybe they're just getting started. I don't know, but I hope that they're able to like go back and bring that vibe back. It's like, you know what, we haven't done a video in the club. Like let's do that again. Let's bring back shooting videos in the club and actually enjoying the experience and shit. But
But
who
see, the
knows,
thing
man?
is, we don't have BET and MTV no more. So
We
like
don't.
even if they do a video like that, you'll watch the video once, maybe
Mhm.
twice. But it's not when you was on BET, MTV, it was like you could memorize what's gonna happen in the video because they used to
Yep.
play music videos all day. I don't know
All day.
why they got away from that, both stations.
Cause
That's kind of weird to me.
we
But
used to
yeah,
wait for the end of the week for the top 10 BET. I remember that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
Like
man.
yeah, yeah.
106
Friday
in
night.
Park,
106 in Park
TRL.
every day.
Yeah, man. And it's crazy because when MTV stopped playing music videos, I switched to MTV too because they were still playing them. And now they stopped playing them. I'm just like, well, where the hell am I
What's
gonna
the
watch my music
point?
videos at? Yeah.
But you also got
But
to think
like,
about music videos in themselves. Like they used to be full on productions. Like it had a story, a
Exactly.
plot line, a breakdown where they acting stuff out. You know what I'm saying? Like this was where the artists were like vying for to get movie roles so that they could push their catalog. Now you lucky to get a 2-3 minute music video because of you know what I'm saying. They don't like they got a thing, but they don't have the intricacies of old school music videos.
They don't. You got the camera panning in and then panning out, them doing random shit at a random location and shit like that. It's the way that they do music videos now is just kind of like, okay, yeah, this is kind of sucks. But there are still some who do actually craft stories with their videos, but it's few and far between. But we got to go ahead and get to this last topic because I just want to hear everybody's opinion on this. So naturally, of course, this has come to the end of the Drake and Kendrick beef or squabble or back and forth, whatever you want to call it. And naturally, I think the general consensus is that Kendrick won. Now, obviously, the last time that y'all heard this podcast, Drake dropped the Heart Part 6 on it. And when we first reacted to it, we thought, okay, this was maybe a little bit something. I will be the first to say I went back and listened to it a couple more times, and I can say wholeheartedly that I was sorely disappointed. And I admit that Chanasa and Law were disappointed the first time that they heard it, but I know for me, it usually takes a minute before I let music sink in. So after I went back and listened to it again, it just made me realize, like, yo, this definitely sounds like he quit. He was done with it, and that he didn't really have any more real smoke to throw at Kendrick. So yeah, that's kind of how I left feeling. And I even played it for my dad. And granted, my dad is in the 70s. He's not the most in tune with hip hop, but of course he knew what was going on with Drake and Kendrick because of me. So when I played for him the Heart Part 6, he was like, well, it didn't sound like Drake was like doing a white flag, like, oh, I give up, oh, you win, oh, I'm the loser. But it definitely sounded like he cussed him out and then quit. And
yeah,
honestly, that's kind of what it felt like. Yeah, it's just like, man, fuck you, I'm out of here. That's pretty much what the Heart Part 6 was.
yeah. It was weird because like initially when I heard it, and even like I still think that he had decent like flow raps on it or whatever, but the bars was like, okay, it does sound like you out of it, like you quit, and it's just like it feel like you just want to get the last word. to be like, so if like later on down the line, you know what I'm saying, he can be like, well, I did the last diss. He never responded back. That's what it kind of feels like. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But yeah, man, I don't know, bro. Like initially when we heard it, and I'm always in the car, so first time I heard it, I was like, oh, this shit sound fine to me. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I don't know.
Law.
I think the hard part 6 was the realization his candle got blew out. You feel me? That was a solid 3-4 weeks of just nonstop fact checking, record diving. Everybody has an analysis of every track, drop to drop. And now we're at the point where it's radio silence. I mean, it's still getting Kendrick is still getting played. I mean, you still hear a Drake track here and there, but if we are like actually like taking it, like it's still part of me who's like, I know Kendrick got something else. I know he got something. He just sitting on. He's like it's gonna be the knockout punch. You feel me? Like took you to the 12th round and bow, like just hit you with a goddamn clean jab and you out 10 count. But I think Not Like Us was that KO punch, and that's why we haven't heard a response from Kendrick.
Yeah, it's a weird thing too, because it's like, bro, like looking back on it, on everything from a whole standpoint. I said this to Kid too. I was all like, bro, why is Drake so confident and want Kendrick to respond so bad? Like, because I thought that he had something. And I think that if you listen to the heart at the end too, I think he definitely felt like he was quote unquote cheated if you listen to it. Because he feels like Family Matters was a good diss, and then the Graham stepped on it immediately. And I think that he really felt like if we would have let that breathe for a little bit, it could have got some steamroll, because he was like, well, go ahead and respond, because we already know you're going to respond in 30 minutes and all this. And I was just like, oh, you definitely crying. You butthurt about it.
For sure. He was salty than a motherfucker. He was salty as fuck. He was just like,
salty, bro.
Like that's why, like, if you actually go back and listen to it like that, was like Kendrick, in my opinion, was already one up from Like That. Like that was his opening statement. That was his opening statement. I'm here to address what we talking about. Y'all keep talking about me, Drake, and Cole. Ain't none of that at the top. I just see me. You feel me? Drake follows up with his introductory statement. Now, by the time he drops Euphoria, you know what I'm saying? He's already into the nitty-gritty. Look, don't tell no lies about me. I won't tell no truths about you. Regardless of if the information was fabricated, you know what I'm saying? And then he goes and drops Family Matters. And I'm just like, was it Family Matters?
Well, don't forget that Kendrick dropped 616 in LA right before Family Matters. He dropped it earlier in the day.
Yeah, he definitely did.
But you get the timeline I'm pointing out. Like every drop that Drake was dropping, it was like I'm trying to play catch up. You feel me? He just learned how to swim and got thrown into the deep section of the pool, and he's like figuring out how to you know what I'm saying, tread water type shit.
And again, I feel like Push Ups was a really good diss. And then I don't have a problem with Taylor Made Freestyle. A lot of people did. I didn't have a problem with that either. In my opinion, though, like, I feel like Drake should have slowed down. You know what I'm saying? If you want to diss that nigga so bad, you want to battle, like, you should have slowed down, bro. Like, you doing back to back. This is trying to do that thing that you did to Meek. And then now you mad because he going back to back and not letting none of your shit get out. No, that's what you wanted. Right. You started that game. So don't be mad at it. You know what I'm saying? And that's on him. And then with Family Matters, he like definitely thought that he was finna get that shit out. And that nigga Kendrick was like, nope. Stepping on that too.
Yep.
Man, listen, I actually saw a thread on Twitter that kind of explains the Drake's missteps, regardless of who you thought was better lyrically. Of course, in my opinion, I thought Kendrick had the better lyrics overall, but regardless of that, he was saying that Drake had some huge missteps in this, particular back and forth. Whether you want to call first person shooter a misstep or not, I don't know, but clearly there was some things that went down where Drake had asked for the Kendrick feature on first person shooter. Kendrick declined, and now the verses seem a little bit like they were jaded a little bit from that, from him declining the feature. So of course then we get like that. And again, what ends up happening is, of course, he was saying that Drake kept posting memes and shit and stories, and of course the shit that he did at at his one of his last concerts while he was on tour. And it's like, yo, Drake, respond. Now, whether you want to give him the benefit of the doubt because he was on tour and it took him 3 weeks to respond, it is what it is. I don't want to get into that, but they said one of the biggest missteps is that the fact that Drake's track got leaked. He was like, okay, one, Push-Ups got leaked. That was mistake number one. You leaked a watered down version, then of course you post the real version on Academics' joint, and you were trying to use the internet to again get the advantage because that's what you do, and that's what Drake wanted. Like, he wanted to use the internet to his advantage so that he could win the court of public opinion. But the misstep in that is like, one, instead of just putting it out on YouTube and shit, you had it leaked, and it's like, yeah, bro, that doesn't look good. And then you finally release it, okay, and then you have Mal and fucking Academics start doing this countdown, and then Mal is like, oh, he ain't gonna respond, and you got Chubb saying, oh, he better not respond and whatnot. You getting your camp involved, and I just had to think, like, did y'all forget who this guy is? Like, did y'all forget who Kendrick is? They kept trying to, I guess, antagonize him, thinking that he wasn't going to respond, and as Steve said, like, Drake, honestly, if you were that pressed to battle him, you should have slowed down, because you should have been more, in my opinion, you should have and could have been more meticulous about this, knowing that Kendrick is not just an average rapper, bro. Like, he's not Meek, he's not Joe Budden, he's not Pusha T. This man is, y'all, literally, we considered him part of the big three. He literally has almost just as many fans. He doesn't have as many streams because he doesn't have as much music out there as you do, but he still has a huge fan base. He has a huge following. His records and his body of work is considered very, very widely universally acclaimed. So you have to be more meticulous throughout this battle. But getting your folks involved in it and whatnot was just a setup for failure, because Kendrick was like, I'm not about to play these meme games with you. I'm not about to play this internet game with you. I'm just about to body you musically. So then Euphoria drops, and then it's like, okay, well, Drake is still playing the meme game again. But then Kendrick does a sort of a small back-to-back, but he posts 616 in LA on Instagram, and he's warning him, like, yo, bro, keep it rap. You don't want to do this with me. If you gonna go there, I'm gonna take it further, like he said at the Euphoria. And also, hey man, have you ever considered that you got a leak in your camp, that they telling me about these things? That should have been indicator number one that this nigga already heard Family Matters, looking back on it now. But that should have been the indicator that Kendrick has heard the song. He already knows that you're gonna drop today. He's ready to actually step on you. And so then Family Matters drops, and like Steve said, like, yo, Drake thought he had it. Like, this was the nuke. This was going to be the big one that was going to get everyone to, sway in his favor, and that he was going to win the court of public opinion. He was going to win the internet and things like that. And then Meet the Grams drops 20 to 25 minutes later and completely steps on it and kills the momentum of it. And Family Matters is a great track. Push-Ups is a good track. But the way that Kendrick out-strategized him is truly where this beef was lost for Drake. And then Kendrick was like, oh, I got a club banger too. Here goes Not Like Us. Since that's what I know what the people really want.
Yeah, it's really crazy because I think Drake really thought, like, okay, Genius is gonna be able to break down Family Matters. Then they're gonna compare it with the video, and then the video is gonna do all like imagine doing all of that only to get stepped on 30 minutes later. He was pissed. He probably was defeated. Like
Mhm.
at that point, it's like, bro, that was it. You know what I'm saying? Even if Kendrick didn't drop another song, bro, even if he didn't drop Stay Not Like Us, which was definitely the killer, but even if he didn't, Meet the Grounds was that impactful to what Family Matters did. It was like, bro, that battle was over at that
Mhm.
point. It was like that was knockdown number two, and then Not Like Us was like the knockout. You know what I'm saying? For real, for real. And
Mhm.
it was like that. So yeah, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. As I said before, regardless of how you feel about it lyrically, again, my opinion is that Kendrick did body him lyrically too. But regardless of how you felt, Kendrick out strategized him from start to finish. He studied the art of war. He knew the every play that Drake was going to do, and he was able to counter it like it was nothing. And as you said, regardless of if he had dropped a Not Like Us or not, Meet the Grams really just was the oh no, we stepping on this track. It's not gonna get any kind of momentum. And sure enough, if you go like and look on YouTube right now, yeah, Family Matters has gotten a lot more views now, but Not Like Us is still probably is the most viewed video, and of course the most streamed song right now out of everything. But it definitely cut the momentum of Family Matters like I want to not even in half. He literally cut it into thirds. Like, yeah, that shit is not gonna fly, bro. So,
So let me ask you this: what do y'all think? Because like they say, Kendrick is a not a ghost artist, but like you'll know when he drops an actual project type shit. What do you think their time frame for dropping music is now? You think Drake can't drop nothing for the rest of the year, or it's gonna be 2 years? Do we see Kendrick dropping a project this year, or is it gonna be? You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to see what y'all opinion is, because I think Kendrick gonna drop sometime this year. It might not be like a full album, but I think he'll give us like an EP or something.
well, according to rumors, Kendrick is finishing up an album. So I suspect that he'll drop it this year, and if not this year, probably possibly early next year. So I think that he will drop soon. As far as Drake, Drake has a 360 deal. And granted, yes, he's gotten 400 million for that 360 deal, but it is still a 360 deal. So if he doesn't drop this year, he's certainly going to drop next year. Like he has to continuously drop. That's going to be Drake's deal. Whereas with Kendrick is now independent and just running through PG Lang. Of course, he still has distribution deals through Interscope, I believe. But as far as like actually being signed to a label or signed to Top Dog and signed to Aftermath, he's not really signed anymore. He's got his own thing and he owns his own master, so he can do whatever the hell he want. Which is why a lot of people said that they were confused about Kendrick saying, "Oh, let me see them splits," because it's like, well, Kendrick has his music now, so what does that even really mean? But either way, I think that Kendrick will drop sometime soon, and that Drake, regardless of whether he should or not, he probably has to drop sometime soon himself.
Yeah, Drake was like, let's get back to the fun and making fun music again. So he's definitely gonna drop. Um, I definitely feel like I think if I'm not mistaken, Kendrick is supposed to drop in July or something like that. Is the rumor?
Hmm.
Um, which makes more sense. Not Like Us, because that means that he finna do an album. He did that shit as an album rollout on your ass, and that's even worse.
That's what I'm
Like,
saying. So it's
that's
just
crazy.
like I just gave you 4 or 5 tracks that's really stepping on your neck before I even drop my actual shit. Like, come on, bro. Like, let's be real with this shit. You can't got it's just like trying to recreate the wheel. You can't recreate something that's already been created. So like I don't know. Like I said, I feel like let's get back to the fun. Nah, man, you don't go and spit on somebody's doorstep or spit in somebody's face and then be like, oh yeah, I didn't mean that. I was just, you know what I'm saying? No. You threw a punch thinking that you was gonna win that fight, and you got knocked out before you was really ready to actually give up. So guess what? Now you got to suffer the consequences. And I don't know. I just think that when it come down to it, his actual, you know what I'm saying, his brand, his stock is taking a hit from it.
I believe so. I think that Drake overall, he'll be all right. I don't think he's gonna like lose like any fans, but people are going to look at him a little differently, and they're probably gonna consume his music a little differently, like because they literally just heard Kendrick saying like you make music to pacify him. So are you just gonna drop music that is mediocre again, or are you actually gonna put some effort into it and drop something fun for real, for real? Like we know that you're capable, so just do it. So I'm hoping that Drake actually did take something from this beef and was like, you know what, let me actually go make music that I know will satisfy the masses for real, and not just pacify them like, oh, here's another Drake song. I only put half of my effort into that. Like, no, like do some real shit. I want to hear some good shit from you, Drake. Like, and again, while Kendrick might be my favorite artist out of the big three, I do like Drake's music when he actually puts effort into it. So that's really what I'm hoping for, is that he actually goes into the studio, actually does some meaningful shit or some real shit. Like even if it's just dance tracks, like actually put some true effort into it, into making good music again, because I know that you're capable of doing it. You've done it before. So just do it again.
But why did it take for him to have to get into a beef for him to be like, oh yeah, let me pick up this pen and show you like this is the reason why I'm being considered for one of the greats, you know?
Yeah, it really shouldn't have to take a beef for you to actually put your whole all into whatever you were doing. But clearly, even though Drake said that at least I can, inspire you to get back into the booth, I'm like, well, Drake, the same could be said for you. Kendrick inspired you to put your best pen game forward in a long time, bro. Like a long time. I haven't heard anything that good from Drake since fucking More Life, for real, for real. And that's just being me, because I did not like Scorpion. I did not like Certified Lover Boy. I honestly, never mind. I don't even want to talk about that. And then For All the Dogs was terrible, with the exception of that last little that damn, I'm getting stuck on my words, but the last album that not the last album that he dropped, but when he did the After Hours joint for All the Dogs, when you dropped that expansion, it's like, okay, you put a little more effort into those songs at the end than you did like the entire album, but the rest of the album still like fluff and just there. So yeah, I don't know, bro, but clearly that beef inspired him to really like get back in the booth for real, for real. So I'm hoping that when he actually does drop an album, he'll be able to, do some real good shit.
Facts. And then another thing with this whole fallout, how do y'all feel about the line where Kendrick says you did cold foul while you still pretending? And because a lot of people feel like Drake was trying to bait Cole to get on that first person shooter to just, what I'm saying, basically put him in the middle of a day beef. And, what I'm saying? And then if Cole goes at Kendrick, then bam, what I'm saying? That's a lyrical person that he wanted in that battle rather than going against him himself. And now the rumor, like there's like rumors or whatever that says Drake is really, really pissed off at J. Cole for exiting the beef.
Because
You
again,
know,
my bad. I
if
was just gonna say the
go ahead,
three
Locke.
of us, you know what I'm saying? With the three of us, we growing up, right? I go and I throw a rock and I go and blame it on Kid. And then, you know what I'm saying, Kid mad at me. But because I don't want the both of us to get in trouble, I'll be like, yeah, nah, Steve was with us too.
Yeah.
Why would you
Mhm.
put somebody who don't have nothing to do with it? You sparked your stuff whenever you essentially got rejected from getting a feature. And because you couldn't get the feature, now you wanted to drag somebody else into it so that, because you already knew you didn't have true material or true get back to stand toe to toe. So let me put somebody else in there because they got the, you know what I'm saying, they got a little bit more esteem, just like the two of us. So he threw Cole in there as a means of, okay, maybe with me doing this, I can you.
Oh, you cut out for a little bit, Law. You still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I was saying he brought Cole in as a means of kind of a bumper, just in case the shit got too hectic.
Yeah, that way Kendrick would have to fight both at one time,
Which
which,
he can do.
which yeah, I mean, it would have been a lot more work with Cole because you don't have the dirt. Whereas with Drake, there's a lot more dirt. I think Cole and Kendrick would have just been bars against each other.
Yep.
I don't think Cole would have dug up no dirt on him anyway. I think it would have just been like, oh yeah, like it's just us going against each other, which I think that's what Cole wanted. And then when he realized it was going to be more than what it was, he got up out of there. Which I mean, I commend him for it, I guess. But for me
That,
personally,
that's self-preservation.
yeah, it's weird being a fan of it when I'm also a fan of ignorance sometimes. So it's like no man, get back in there. But it's like, all right, well I get it, whatever. But yeah, man, I just think that that's crazy if that's true. That Drake was kind of basically using J. Cole as a pawn in this whole thing. And if I'm Cole, I mean, your album, The Fall Off, is supposed to be coming out soon because basically this battle with Kendrick and Drake stepped all over Mike Tweets later. Nobody don't even talk about that shit. And that was a solid album. Well, mixtape or whatever it was supposed to be. And that shit just basically gone with the wind because of Drake and Kendrick beef. So if I'm him, I'm mad at Drake. Like, nigga, you put me in this shit. So I'm mad at that. Number one. Number two, I'm also mad at fucking everybody else that decided they want to add their 2 cents in here and call me names. Like Kanye and The Game. Like, I want it with everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we'll see how that goes with that and how
But
that
then
plays out.
you got to look at the timing too, because at the time that Cole did the EP or whatever, the little project he did, he still had Dreamville Fest going on. So a lot of people went into that festival thinking that he about to be on gasoline and road flares, you know what I'm saying, ready to blow shit up. And he got on stage and was just like, yeah, nah, I respect Kendrick to the utmost. You know what I'm saying? That's my dog. Like, I ain't trying to take it there. So this is me, you know what I'm saying, giving him his flowers. But respectfully, I'm not in this shit.
Bro, that's what I told them on iPod, bro. I said J. Cole, I said J. Cole wasn't gonna respond. That's what I said originally. I was like, he's not gonna respond. I said what he is gonna do is go on stage and talk about how he fucked with Kendrick and he don't really know what's going on. And I thought he was gonna call Kendrick out on some like, yo, did you diss me? What's going on? I didn't think he was gonna do no 7-minute drill. I didn't think that was gonna be a thing. So when it did come out, I was like, okay, interesting. So now we got a beef. And that's the one, that's the show that I wanted. I wanted Kendrick and Cole because it's always been this who is better type of thing. But I don't think rap battles really determine who better. What determine who better, in my opinion, is stuff like Watch the Throne or the Her Law. They rapping on the same beat. And now it's like, nigga, who go harder? You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't mind them doing a collaboration album. I want to see how that would turn out. But a battle, like, nigga, sometimes niggas just can come be more creative on this. You know what I'm saying? And it's a different beat. Like, nigga, Mustard on a beat, that's a whole different animal compared to some of the beats that Drake got. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, he getting dragged in the beef, obviously. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes those don't necessarily determine. I would love for them niggas to have all been on the same track for 3 or 4 consecutive songs. And then we like, all right, let's really weigh this out. Who was better?
I get where you're coming from though, and that's why I'm like, man, we might never get that Kendrick and Cole collab album that they've had
That shit dead.
in the works for like 12 years at this point, man. I really wanted it, but it is what it is. That being said, just for some of my final thoughts, yeah, ultimately, I definitely wanted to see a battle between Cole and Kendrick because those two, again, those are the top lyricists in the game right now. We know like Drake is the biggest pop star or the biggest rap star as far as like hits and as far as money and all of that good shit. But when it comes down lyrically, it's Cole, Kendrick, or Kendrick Cole, depending on who you ask. But still, for me, I am really, I honestly am really thankful about this beef because it did seem for me it restored, not restored my love for hip hop, but it reminded me of my love for hip hop because all the shit that we were getting in rap nowadays is just kind of like, okay, yeah, same old shit. I even listened to part of Gunna's album and I'm just like, okay, bro, like it's almost like the same style and the same shit over and over and over again. Like, come on, bro. Like you good for staying in the pocket that you're good in, but it's like I kind of want something different.
But
But
they
either
said he
way,
threw shots in Hakuna Matata. I didn't get to listen to the full thing, but they said that he was talking crazy in that track that he had put out, and I'm just like, maybe I do need to go and give it a listen through.
I'll have to rewind that back because I didn't catch it. But either way, yeah. And to Law's point, I do think that Drake did kind of like throw him under the bus for as far as Cole was concerned, because yeah, after that whole first person shooter shit, Kendrick was like, nah, I gotta say something. And I think he expected that both of them would go at Kendrick so that he could fall back on Cole's lyricism instead of having to go at him by himself. But as it turns out, nah, it didn't sit right with Cole's spirit. And
And I think also Drake felt like I got so many different opponents. You know what I'm
mhm.
saying? This would have eased it off for me a little bit. I think he also thought that too.
Which, in my opinion, I'm like, yeah, you've got people who are, have an issue with you and are dissing you. But truth be told, we don't care about that, bro. We don't care about your issues with Rick Ross or with Future or with Metro or anybody else that has a problem with you, because we know that whatever track or whatever they got to say towards you, and ASAP as well, whatever they got to say to you, it don't really matter because we want to see you and Kendrick go at it because y'all two are like the top right now. We want to see the two giants go at each other. So his focus should have strictly been on that and not worried about everybody else. If you wanted to have smoke with everybody else, get through your Kendrick beef first, and then you can have a track for the rest of them niggas. But
Fact.
instead, you sent shots at the Weekend, you sent shots at Ross, you sent shots at Future, you sent shots at Metro Boomin, you sent shots at ASAP Rocky and Kendrick. So it's like, because you decided to not focus on your main opponent, the one that can really do the most damage to you, and you decide to go off and have smoke for everybody else on top of that, it just makes you look foolish. Focus on your like the real juggernaut here. Like,
The
this is
main
not,
event.
yeah, this is the main event, bro. Not, we don't care about the other shit. If you want to address the other shit later, you can go ahead and do that. But
But
that's
but
just my
see,
opinion.
I also feel like he didn't have enough dirt on Kendrick to do multiple songs. And,
Hmm.
and I don't know, I don't understand how this is turned into multiple songs. Like, you know what I'm saying? Things like that. Like, I remember when like a nigga used to diss somebody for like 45, 55 seconds on a freestyle and be like, all right, I'm done. You know what I'm saying? Like, that should be enough. Like, you don't have to do a 3-minute song every time. I think he handicapped himself by doing that too. Like, nigga, you should have just gave a couple bars and then did that shit. Like how we said, Family Matters is a great song, but let's
Hmm.
say what happens if you break that up into 3 different songs? Quit trying to be like Kendrick, because that's what he did. Like Euphoria was
Right.
three different beat drops. Oh, I'm gonna do 3 different beat drops, nigga. Why? You see what I'm saying? It's just like, why are you
Hmm.
doing that? Like, be you instead of trying to be like him and shit like that. So he played into his hand, and it went bad for him.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe it, man. I have one more thing to say regarding that whole situation with Drake. I also think that Drake's problem is that he always has to like find dirt on his opponent and try to like use it or try to bring their family into it. And this is like, bro, you don't have to bring people's family into it. That was another mistake that you did. There are plenty of beefs out there where they just have smoke for that person and they don't bring up their family. We could talk about the smoke between Cannabis and LL Cool J. Like they didn't mention family, but they went at each other from LL Cool J's verse to second round knockout to Can I Bust. Like they literally had smoke for each other. Now, of course, if you wanted to like, I guess, use dirt on somebody and shit like that, you could, I guess, talk about Jay-Z when he dropped Super Ugly, but that was seen in such poor taste to respond to Ether, because it's like, bro, you just admitted to sleeping with his girl and you left condoms in the baby seat, bro. That's like foul. But he had to apologize for that. But still, like a lot of beefs don't get that personal when you bring family into it. And Kendrick had warned you, yo, it's a friendly fade. Keep it rap. Don't mention my family. don't bring family into this. I can talk about you being a bad dad, but I'm not specifically, talking about your children. But Drake did it anyway. And so Kendrick was like, nah, I got something for you for doing that shit.
And ultimately, like, back to where Cole was saying, like, this isn't about to be about rap no more. If you really think about it, bro, like, even in at all of this, like, yes, Kendrick won the beef and Drake, you know what I'm saying? They both went at each other, but at the end of the day, like, even if it's not true, Kendrick's son is gonna grow up now, if he not homeschooled, going to school, and I know how kids are. Kids is gonna be like, nigga, Lamar not even your daddy. That's gonna be a joke. You know what I'm saying? And that's a lasting effect. You know what I'm saying? Like that's gonna be a lasting effect. And then like, what if he does like have these moments where he's like, man, I do kind of look like Dave Free, or something like those can be lasting effects. And same with Adonis. Like Adonis is going to hear that song, just like Kendrick said, play this when you turn 18. Like those things are gonna be lasting effects, bro. And that's another reason why I feel like I commend J. Cole on that, because it's like I don't know how, you know what I'm saying, how to deal with that type of shit. Like once we cross those lines and you got to deal with that, like there was a lot of innocent people in this battle that took L's. You know what I'm saying? Like even if it's not true or if it is true, Kendrick's wife, now she has to, if it is true, she has to relive those moments of being in an abusive situation. Right. Or, you know what I'm saying, if it's not true, now she got to defend it everywhere she go. You know what I'm saying? Like those are things that are big deals, bro, and they shouldn't have crossed those lines, to your point, bro.
Yeah. And this is why I wish Drake would have just kept it strictly rap for real, because the same shit happened with his beef with Pusha T. Like you mentioned his wife, and Pusha was like, nah, bro, we not doing this. You got a kid that you hiding. Let's be really honest about it. So now, and even then, Adonis has to live with that for the rest of his life. Like, to your point, he goes to school. Yeah, and people are gonna be like, bro, Drake was hiding you. Yep. And then we go back to Kendrick's verses, like he wasn't even a real dad to you. Yep. Like
it's gonna be a lasting effect. That beef is gonna last a while, and once they grow up and they 20 years old and they on IG and stuff like that, I mean, kids grow fast. Because I mean, look at Blue Ivy; she's like 14 or something like that. It's crazy. So like these kids gonna grow up fast. Yeah, we'll get old, and then they'll start telling their perspective on the story. And I'm just like, dang, this is gonna be a whole different angle that we're gonna see.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. But I think we've talked about enough of this beef and the aftermath. Obviously, we have our opinion of who won the beef here, but of course, let us know if you think differently. We know that there's a few Aubrey's Angels out there who will try to say to the contrary and try to bring up sales or try to bring up numbers and shit like that. Man, this beef is not about numbers, bro. Unless you count Not Like Us, because Kendrick proved that he could play the same game that Drake can. But in terms of true, like actual rap beef, we hear about the bars. We want to be here about the strategies. We want to see like, how do you undermine your opponent? That's what we're about. With that in mind, there is a YouTube beef going on right now between Screwface John, who actually went on tour with Kendrick one time, and Knox Hill. Now, if you're not familiar with these two, they're rappers who are actual like reactors when it comes to music and whatnot, and they don't see eye to eye. Knox Hill is white, Screwface John is black. It's starting to get really weird over there because they're just going back and forth. And Screw has receipts on this beef, and then Knox says, "Well, you did this, this, and that," and then Screw is like, "Well, you're doing this, this, and that." It's really, really weird. I implore you that if you have time out of your day to just go listen to some of the back and forth, and if you are familiar with them, just check it out because, in my opinion, it's hilarious. But again, it just got weird. So
it's weird from jump. Y'all fighting over other niggas.
Right.
That's weird.
Yeah, y'all fighting over like who did what with who. Like who? Oh, this I had this nigga on a song. Well, no, you didn't. You cheated him out of a song. Oh, yeah. Well, you tried to say you did this with this person, but in truth, you kind of played in their face. It's like, yo, what are y'all talking about? It's like, oh, you got famous because you reacted to Eminem shit. And Screw is just like, nigga, you're from, or he didn't call him nigga, but he's like, yeah, you're from Nebraska. You're not from the hood, bro. You're not about that life. And it's just weird. But I implore you, if you haven't checked them out, just check it out if you want to take a moment to get your laughs off, because it is really funny. And some of the stuff that they say have some good some bars in there. I'm not taking sides in who is better than who, but it's just interesting to say the least. But that's all that I have for this episode. Damn, we're running up on 2 hours. Does anybody have any new businesses that they want to highlight, or a new black business they want to highlight, or some black content creators or anything like that before we get to the rundown?
Everything's been regular on my end.
All right. And Steve, you said you were good?
Shout out to Supreme Gumbo in Houston, Texas. That shit is fire, bro. Y'all
Okay.
in Houston, go to Supreme Gumbo. That shit is fire. The line is long, so you don't wait. Because it's like a restaurant inside of a gas station. So the line is long. You're gonna have to wait. They make it when you order it type shit, except for the gumbo is already made. But like if you want like tacos or whatever they decide to make, they're gonna make it when you order it. So you're gonna wait. But it's well worth the wait. That shit is fire. So shout out to Supreme Gumbo in Houston.
For damn sure. I'm gonna definitely check it out. Do they have any like non-seafood gumbo? Because unfortunately your boy's allergic.
That I don't know. I'm not sure. I know they got like gumbo tacos and things like that. They got like, I think they do have like chicken and stuff like that up there. I'm not sure if it's chicken gumbo. I actually didn't see. But what I will say is that, even with that, you got to be careful, because like sometimes they use the same oil that they fry seafood in. They'll fry the chicken in, and that can still get you really sick and stuff like that. So me personally, I wouldn't even risk it if you like allergic to seafood.
Understood. I'm not like severe allergic, but it's severe enough. So like I get it. Damn. That's all good. I done lived without seafood for 20 plus years. I'll be all right, I guess. Anyway, guys, we haven't done the rundown in a minute. So if you're not familiar with the rundown, this is where we name all of the podcast content creators, artists, and black businesses that have supported this podcast or have been on this podcast, and of course people who we support as well, just in general. So with that, let's start with our podcast. Big shout out to Shogo High. We got some new things in the work. We did our last any space or space on X/Twitter, whatever, and so now we are getting ready to become a full-blown pod. And just check us out. So whenever we get that Patreon, of course, we'll let you know when that drops. As always, shout out to Inside the Mind of a Blurred. You already know what time it is. We have a panel at DreamCon. It's coming soon. Be sure you check us out. And again, continue to check out Inside the Mind of a Blurred. And definitely subscribe to that Patreon as well. Shout out to Worst Generation Podcast and Bland Anime Podcast, formerly known as Anime After Dark. To both podcasts, of course, you already know y'all got our support. And definitely shout out to Mike Check Waifu, to the boys, Polo and King Teliano. please check out that podcast. If you need an anime podcast to check out as far as seasonal anime, them are your boys. They will get you right. All right. Shout out to Truth and Transparency Podcast with Brother X, the Culture Scientist, and Mr. Smith. Shout out to Kay Renee. She's still getting her podcast together, but take all the time that you need, sweetheart. In the meantime, check out all of her novellas at Amazon Kindle under the pen name Sedona Rose. It's So Real with Raquel and Onaji. Dad Needs to Talk with Rob, the father of Vash. Analytical where she gets critical. Geek Set Podcast. Anime Junkies 3 Weaves in a podcast. Those Anime Girls and The Commute. For our Black content creators, shout out to Off Black Mag with Aaron, HBCU Anime with Evan, Sundari with Erica, Cerberus Entertainment. Shout out to the girl Tatted Poodle. Shout out to the girl the Geeky Gamer who is actually back in the States. Big shout out to UQ. Continue to do your thing. Shout out to Icarus Metro Comics with my boy Calvin. Shout out to the gang Hub Taku. Shout out to Shelby with Simply Janine, Simply Bakes, and Roads Less Traveled. Damn, I gotta slow down. Shout out to Strange Keith with Idols to Icons, Toasty Marshmallow. And of course, shout out to the Corner 5. That's Simone with By Simone Malcolm, Courtney with None of My Friends Watch Anime, 5 with Fight for Rage, Chris with Chris Madarame, and Sham with One Punch Sham. And once again, also shout out to Scooby Steve and Alpha with Blurred Mind Productions. For our Black artists, of course, shout out to NASA. I know that she was on the last episode, and I was really, really excited that she joined us. Of course, she's continuing her break. But again, please be sure that you check out the music that she has available now on also DSPs. Shout out to the boy Scoozy, who's actually going on a mini tour right now. Shout out to the boy Jack Union, Phil.me, Ellis Quinn, RJ Stackhouse. Shout out to the boy Quarter, Tyrone Leak Jr. Shout out to our girl Ari Lachelle, Zach Hines and Fortresses. Shout out to our girl Elena. Shout out to our girl Zainab. And shout out to our girl Imogen. And then for Black business shout outs, already paid by Dre, Fresh Nerds, Righteous Minds by Timo, KSS Brand by Christina, Korean Cosmetics by Naima, Mind Over Money by Miss Tremaine, Studio Maho with Pat Yin, Concept Moon, She Designs 2 with my girl Erin, Black Magic / Lit Wands with my girls Low and T, H4 Creative with our girl Zenobia, Real Estate Stone by our girl Meredith, Sold by Bell with our girl Mariah, GVO with NASA, and of course, Scrappy Sentiment with our other co-host, Sappy. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, be sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the Chaotic Culture Podcast on your favorite DSP. Be sure you subscribe to the Patreon for early access to the podcast and bonus episodes to the podcast. You can subscribe at any of the four levels listed, be it $3, $5, $7, $10. It don't matter. We still appreciate your support, and more bonus content coming soon as well. So be sure that you definitely check us out. You can follow our Facebook page at Chaotic Culture Podcast. You can follow us on IG at Chaotic Culture Pod. And unfortunately, X/Twitter has decided to pack up the old page, and they still have not given us the old page back. So Chaotic_Culture right now is currently suspended. That being said, you can follow our backup page at Chaotic Culture 1. You can follow me, Ked the Pro. That's K3D the Pro on all social media. You can follow Ms. Nasa at I'm Nakaso on all social media. You can follow Law on Instagram at L.JR_96 and on X/Twitter at Law96_. You can follow Sappy at Scraps14 on all social media. You can follow Jay at Jaylee Trey on all social media. And of course, you can follow Scuba Steve at Scuba Steve 1428 on all social media. And with that, this has been another edition of the Chaotic Culture Podcast. So, until next time, folks, remember, embrace the culture, chaos rules. Be blessed, be safe, God is love, and we out.
One.
Deuces.